What's going on, everybody? This is City Wrestling Radio, and this is the B Show. I'm your host, Corey Smith. Join me via a Zoom meeting call conversation. My co-host, as always, per every week, every day, Mr. Michael.
Rest of our lives.
For the rest of our lives on the B Show.
Till death do us part.
Oh, that's cute. But thank you. Mr. Michael Vergara, how are you today, sir?
Tired. It is 11:20 a.m. as of this recording.
Don't date it.
I could not be any more happier.
There you go. Well, at least you got coffee right now. My coffee's all gone from earlier, and I don't get another cup until
it's gone now.
Well,
gone now.
There you go. Anyways, nonetheless, this, like I said, this is the B Show. We're here to talk about AEW Dynamite, NXT from last night. Also, some things that happened in the world of wrestling that weren't wrestling, news. There's some shows this week. Dark Side of the Ring, the finale, Owen Hart, something, a storyline I was very familiar with growing up, and I'm sure you remember a little bit. I mean, we've talked about it for a couple weeks, but we'll get into it a little bit more when we talk about the news. Nonetheless, that's my fourth time saying that. Sorry, it's my word of the day. Got to get it out of there. Follow, like, share, and subscribe at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's the best way to stay up to date with City Wrestling Radio, because we post cool stuff on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So check it out. Yeah. Let's get into the news, shall we?
Yes, let's.
I think our first piece of news is a very unfortunate piece of news. This past Sunday.
It's been quite a week, honestly.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a week. This past Sunday, former WWF or WWE superstar Shad Gaspard was in Venice Beach with his family when him and his son, amongst other people, I guess, were pulled in by a riptide, kind of bringing them into the waters. They were being saved by lifeguards at his last moments. He pushed his son to safety to the lifeguards because they were trying to save him first, and he pushed his son. He said, "No, save my son first," and that's when the riptide then took Shad under. The search was on for about that day until about nighttime. The next day, they had pretty bad weather, so they called off the search pretty early. Wednesday morning, his body washed up on shore in Venice Beach at about 1:36 a.m., I believe. I don't have the news in front of me. When two people were walking down the shore and found his body still in his swim trunks. And it was really shocking to read that, that morning waking up, and I was like, what? No, like,
it's an unbelievably tragic story. Normally when these search stories come up, there's only kind of more or less one possible conclusion that would happen. Well, like, granted, it was unconfirmed.
Find them within an hour, or and I'm not trying to be morbid, but
it's not usually within an hour. I mean, they called it off they called off the search that day, and then they found his body, I want to say around Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday morning. And so washed up on shore.
Yeah, it's an unbelievably tragic story from all the accounts from everybody who worked with Shad Gaspard, even without outside the wrestling industry, because he would do movies for Hollywood. He was in Birds of Prey. He was the last bad guy in that movie. That he was just a kind, genuine individual who was just an infectious personality, personality positivity. Yeah. And so if it's any consolation, Shad Gaspard will forever be remembered as a selfless hero. And that's probably going to be his enduring legacy, And
I think it goes without saying, our condolences to the friends, family, and to, our fellow fans of Shad Gaspard's, because, he wrestled.
Crime time was over.
Yeah, crime time
was very over.
Very over, especially in the day and age. I mean, it was kind of in a day and age when wrestling wasn't, it was kind of, teetering off for them to be over in that time. And it was great. I always loved crime time. But yeah, no, it's really sad. Wait, Bob, what about your memories of Shad? Yeah, because I feel like that.
Because honestly, it begins and ends with Crime Time. Was like you said earlier, that they were on the come up when I was on the come down in wrestling in general. This was It was post Benoit. It was one of the segments I vividly remember was them was selling Lita's stuff, and I think that was her last day.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get into that, but that was definitely a segment.
Yeah, they teamed with John Cena for a minute.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, no, and like I remember, like you same with you, as I was kind of falling out of wrestling at the time, but I still watched and kept up, and I remember, and I liked Crime Time. He also Crime Time, I guess, wrestled in Hood Slam, locally. I wish I would have been there.
One other fun fact about Shad Gaspard: he was the motion capture actor, according to Wikipedia, the sources of all sources. He was the motion capture actor for Kratos from the new God of War game.
I was gonna say like Jax or someone from Mortal Kombat, hopefully, because he's got like a big muscular physique.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's a heartbreaking tragedy, man.
Yeah. And also Shad Gaspard, like not a lot of people have talked about this, but the robbery he stopped, I guess, when he was in New Jersey at a local gas station.
Yeah.
And he took the gun from some guy trying to rob the liquor store and held it on him until the police came. It's just like, damn, dude, that's
just who he is, man. Selflessness to the core.
And it really,
willing to risk his life for others.
And that's the way he went out too, is by, saving his son. Because if you think about it, like, you can't sit here and say, oh, his son would have died. You never know what you never know what would have happened, what could have happened. Yeah. But yeah, he, in his mind, he was, I'm putting my son's life before mine. And yeah, it's sad.
Another piece of well, generally on the same tone, Larry Sonka, of wrestling media, of 411mania.com. I would go to this site whenever I'd look for news. This would be always on the come up. He has Larry Sonka, I want to say I think he's the head honcho over there at 411 Mania. He has other people, but
yeah,
he has passed away. I'm reading off the 411 Mania tribute site. Well, this is just the news on his passing. It says, in the news that left us all absolutely devastated, we're extremely sad to announce the passing of Larry Sonka. Larry was obviously an icon for his writing, but more importantly, he was an amazing husband and father who leaves behind a family that loves him dearly. He was truly a good man who was full of positivity and had such a great sense of humor. Words can't express how much he will be missed. And yeah, every time I would look up like any random show, I would see a review by Larry Sonka. Like, if you want like random mid-2000s WWE pay-per-views, you would find Larry Sonka. Like, this guy was a very hardworking individual, and I think it's in our best interest to really give a shout out to all of wrestling media there. And you normally don't hear news about this magnitude when it comes to wrestling media. And I mean, I consider us media, so like, just one shout out from one brother to another.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, I'm not familiar with Larry Sonka, but like you said, you were very familiar, reading his reviews of WWE pay-per-view. So yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate, seeing anyone go out in the wrestling industry, no matter what facet of the wrestling industry you work in. So
condolences.
What?
Condolences.
Yeah. Now, shall we talk about more death? Owen Hart?
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring, the season finale.
Well, apparently Dark Side of the Ring this week was the highest drawing episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
I mean, I would assume so, because the amount of promotion and like interviews that Martha Hart has been doing, and amongst other people saying other shit for this subject.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say, also bringing the show to the highest rated show on Vice ever.
Yeah. One might think, like, you think they're gonna continue on with this whole Dark Side? Like, you think they're gonna they're gonna continue on making Dark Side of the Ring, or they're gonna do Dark Side of anything else, like music?
They'll probably do other stuff. They'll probably Dark Side of the Court, Dark Side of the Field, Dark Side of the.
Keep going.
What do you call a roller derby track?
Rink.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Rink. Oh, I like that. See, because it's just one letter. Nonetheless, this week's episode was kind of no joking matter. It was the death of Owen Hart.
One other note, actually, before I forget, this Owen Hart episode, they beat last week's NXT in every demo except the 50 plus. So, which is interesting because you'd think the 50 plus would be a lot more familiar with the subject matter, considering this happened like 20 years ago.
I think that's something also that has to do with a lot of the people that were older that are familiar with this kind of were like, oh yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot to the story and I'm not going to sit here and,
watching this Dark Side of the Ring, there was knowing about the subject beforehand, there was a lot more to this story that I previously just wasn't as familiar with.
There was a couple things I felt like I was unfamiliar with. I mean, I knew the harness was faulty. I knew
6 pounds of pressure on so according to Martha, she says 6 pounds of pressure would just undo the buckle that he was attached to.
So
that is
what happened when he was coming down from the arena or from these rafters is that they had this harness on him, or this, just like hook that with 6 pounds of pressure, it just instantly lets you go. Which is
a logical thing to do when you're working, when your subject is a 220-pound professional wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, what'd you think of this episode in general?
I think it was the best one they've ever done.
Yeah, I mean,
this was
I felt like there's a lot to the story.
It was incredibly enlightening to really hear Martha Hart's voice in this. I was always just familiar with Brett's side of the story. Like, he would do interviews about how Martha, not to disparage Brett, this is his opinion, but he would always say how Martha, he was always the type that would kind of paint Martha Hart as sort of, with lack of a better term, the bad guy in this situation. In regards,
a lot of the Hart family did.
Well, the thing is, there's certain levels to it too. Brett was supportive of the lawsuit.
Yes.
Stu, Helen Hart, they were supportive of the lawsuit. Ellie Hart, who is married to Jim Neidhart, and Diana Hart, who's married to British Bulldog, were very much not supportive of the lawsuit because
I feel bad for my British Bulldog shirt today. I didn't even think about that.
And so, because they weren't in favor of the lasuit. And in fact, it was to a point where Martha would say this, would tell the story herself, where she said Ellie Hart would fax legal documents, which was ostensibly their playbook, to WWE in exchange for Jim Neidhart and British Bulldog's employment of the company. And so it's an ugly story altogether. But with Brett, he was always the person that would want Martha Hart to really just let WWE go, just let WWE have control of Owen Hart's, video legacy, and just kind of circulate his match library and let them do this DVD. And he was always of that. He was always of that mindset. I remember reading that he was mad at Martha because she didn't include the tape library that Owen was a part of in that lawsuit as well. They settled, but then she didn't include the video library, and that's what really set Brett off. But no Brett on this show, which is kind of par for the course considering he wasn't really that favorable of the Montreal Screwjob. They kind of did need him. I mean, considering he's his brother.
I felt like the show was a pretty good story nonetheless.
Oh yeah, no, it's good for what it is. But then
I'm saying that the show didn't need an interview by Brett. It would have been very supplemental and would have been awesome. Yeah, but it was still good nonetheless.
It was really heartwarming to see how well, in a relative sense, how well the family is today. Martha Hart, the Owen Foundation, where it's a nonprofit solely dedicated to single mothers.
They do a lot of stuff. I was actually listening to the Dave Meltzer podcast with her. He did an interview with her last night. And they provide, people with down payments on how to make them learn how to budget their money out to get a homes, give scholarships out to kids going to school at whatever, level of education you're working in, whether it's Ivy League or, community college or trade school. So they do a lot of good stuff. The thing that
yeah.
No, I was gonna say the thing that really got me about the show is Vince's attempt to fight back at Martha Hart.
Well, because he wanted the lawsuit to take place in Connecticut, where they have home court advantage, instead of
And there's no what was it?
Kansas City.
There's no punitive whatever
charges.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say this about Owen Hart. Wasn't a fan of his growing up. I wasn't did not like the guy. I was just never really.
Well, was it because he was a heel, or was it because every you legitimately?
But also, I was just a kid, and I liked Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, Flashy.
Yeah, two very, very quality individuals. I mean, yeah, everybody looked up to those.
Yeah. So, but looking back, holy shit! Who's this guy flipping, doing all these flippy things, jumping off the back of their necks, and I'm like, what?
He was a prodigy. He was the closest. He was the closest to a prodigy that you were ever going to get.
Oh my god, that guy was incredible.
Family. He was a natural. I'm a bit on the younger side, relatively speaking, and so I saw Owen Hart's career in retrospect. I would watch his matches with Brett. I would watch his match with Shawn. I would only watch his WWE stuff. In fact, I probably should go out and seek out his Japan stuff and his Stampede Steed. There was a statement, and in light of all this stuff, WWE could have kept quiet and all this, but Jerry McDevitt, a WWE lawyer, has since issued a statement to CBS Sports, and I quote, "The reality is we never told our side of the story of what happened, at least not outside of the court. We told it in court, but when she talks about the way the lawsuit unfolded over the years, it really isn't accurate what she is saying. What she did whenever this happened is she hired a lawyer in Kansas City who we caught essentially trying to fix the judicial selection process to get a judge that was more to their liking. We caught them and went all the way to Missouri Supreme Court. Missouri Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to let that happen. They essentially appointed an independent judge to come in from outside of Kansas City, oversee the proceedings. We were basically trying to find out what happened that night. And here's a real kicker. Martha was not even remotely interested in finding out what happened that night. She just wanted to use it as a vehicle to beat up a business that she didn't like that her husband was in, the wrestling business." Boy.
That seems completely unlike the truth.
That is a lot to unpack, considering you look at Martha Hart's basement, and it's a freaking container. She has this container filled with legal documents, and she still has the hook. He still has the hook that plunged that plunged Owen to his death, and so it's not a good.
She talked about going to Kansas City and walking on the catwalk. I think the kids were up there too with her, because she's a single mother at the time, so she had to take the kids everywhere too. So it is quite the story. Not just Owen Hart, but Martha Hart, and how she approached this, how she dealt with it, doing that Owen and Martha Foundation, and the fact that her kids are doing legitimately good, contributing to society as well. Oj, the oldest son, is becoming a human rights lawyer. Yeah. And the youngest daughter, Athena, she's becoming a journalist for animal rights. My God. And then the wrestling family, the Harts, they're the ones that are painted in this sort of picture. It really gives you a sense of perspective. Man, wrestling can be kind of fucked sometimes. I think the overall story arc of this whole season of Dark Side of the Ring was, man, WWE kind of sucks. I say fuck. It says it's Well, no, a lot of the shows have focused on Vince McMahon. They don't say the positive side of the ring. Bright side of the ring. No, it's no, there's none of that. Except maybe the UWF episode. That was something where the Herb Abrams. The Herb Abrams episode. Maybe that was something where Vince McMahon. It kind of paints Vince McMahon as somebody who more or less knows what he was doing in regards to running WWE. In contrast to Herb Abrams, where it was powered by cocaine. He was shoving half of Bolivia up his nose. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Vince was too. You know what I mean?
Not to the extent of Mr. Electricity.
Yeah. Vince was like, "Oh, buddy, balance it out a little bit. You got to go work out in the gym or something.
Yeah.
Come on, what are you talking about? Build a gym with neon lights and never change it for 30 years, buddy."
That is genuine advice, and he doesn't call you buddy; he calls you pal.
Hey, pal. Yeah, Vince seems weird. Yeah. So speaking of Vince, Owen Hart. It's a tragic story. Like I said, I said in past weeks, I remember I watched it happen live. Like I said, there was a video package during this pay-per-view going on, and during it he fell. And yeah, man, it's him going out on his last moments, telling, I guess the ref, was it Mike Cordera? Was it Cordera? Yeah, he said he swear he heard someone yell, "Look out."
Oh, Jimmy Corderas.
Oh, Jimmy Corderas. Yeah, Jimmy Corderas. Yeah. He thought he heard someone yell, "Look out," and he felt someone tug on the ropes and something brushed by his head, and Owen fell and next to him. And yeah, man, it's it was sad. And like that moment when JR announcing Owen's death, I remember that vividly, standing in my living room, like holy crap, like
scramble vision for me. It was, if anything, it made it even more weirder without audio. I mean, without video.
Oh, you just watched it like with it all scrambled.
Yeah, because you turn to you turn the channel where it would normally show pay-per-view.
But you'd have to flip back and forth, right? And then
just leave it in there and just listen. It's pretty much just an audio. It's pretty much a modern day podcast, actually, in wrestling form. I would do that for the six-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell, but then
Rikishi into the bed of hay. Rikishi into the bed of hay.
I was talking to my older brother last night when he said he was remembering watching this pay-per-view, and I said, like, we were watching a Scramble Biz, and he said no, we would order the re-airing, and I was like, why the fuck would you order the re-airing? You think they were going to show Owen's death or something?
Did they?
No, they were in the middle of a video. Remember, they were in the middle of a video.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, did they? I don't know if they edited it out for a future pay-per-view.
No, I don't think they did.
They just showed it as is.
They just showed it.
Yeah, I always thought that night. I'm like, why is the show still going? But
it is completely baffling to me that the Kansas City local authorities did nothing to stop that show.
Wrestling's so
like
WWE. You don't know what's a work and what's a shoot. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. As soon as he gets carted to a hospital and the independent hot medical crew declares him dead 33 minutes afterwards.
At that point, yeah.
Like this is a crime scene. This I wouldn't expect WWE to stop the show, but I would have definitely expected the local authorities to.
WWE is still working in a global pandemic. Do you expect them to stop the show after just one person died and fell to their death? I don't think they would.
Wait, is this a joke?
They work with Saudi Arabia, dude. Like, no, I'm saying they are horrible people. Why does anyone expect them to be like, no, we should stop the show? No, they're going to keep going.
And it's really sad the fact that Owen he didn't want to do the Blue Blazer, or he didn't want to do any of this, but he felt like he needed to, because he was originally going to be in a storyline with Deborah, and
because he was in the tag team with Jeff Jarrett and Deborah.
It was supposed to be a love angle with Deborah, and he didn't want to do that out of respect for Martha, his wife. And Meltzer said in his radio show that whenever wrestlers are involved with love angles with women that's not their wives, the wives absolutely hate it. They absolutely fucking hate it. Which understandably so.
Understandably, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame just see what happened and kind of relive it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Dark Side of the Ring, Owen Hart. It's a tragic story, but yeah.
I don't know where they go from here.
Well, Martha Hart, at least she's doing great things for the world.
Actually contributing to society.
To society. Who would have thought that people?
I mean, putting smiles on people's faces also contributes to society in a major way as well.
Yeah. What else we got in the news, Michael?
Injuries. Dynamite.
Okay.
So they
Hold, before we get into that real quick, did you watch the Undertaker, the last ride?
nah, but I hear it's good. I hear it's good.
I'm like Michael Jordan, but I wrestle.
No, it's cool. He's
Is that your Mark Calloway impersonation?
Mark Calloway. Would you like to go, Michelle, to WrestleMania with me and get on the private jet?
No.
Be on your Instagram and your lady jet?
No. Anyways, yeah, so I what was that? Anyways, sorry. Weird noises all around both sides of this. I think this podcast is haunted today on both sides of the call. Undertaker last ride. It was a good episode. I mean, just talk about him going back to Mania and how he wants one last match, and that's how he wants to go out, and he wasn't thrilled. He was watching his Roman Reigns match and disgusted with it, and he was like, I bet Roman was really mad at that match.
Didn't he have like tears in his eyes watching it?
I didn't notice tears.
All I know from that documentary was they asked Vince McMahon a question saying, "What does Undertaker mean to you?" And
yeah, that was weird.
And he got alligator. He had alligator. I mean, he normally does have alligator eyes. It's like, and he was just like,
"Can't do it."
Like to our podcast listeners, it's like he was doing the cut neck motion.
Yeah,
just cut it up.
Can't do it.
No. He never wants to show weakness. Strength, no weakness. Strength.
I feel like he hides his weakness so much that anytime someone triggers it, it's like, please let me out.
He hates sneezing. That's the story. He hates sneezing.
Yeah. Well.
He hates people. He hates it when people sneeze, and he hates it when he sneezes. So.
He also wore a T-shirt in this episode, which was weird.
I mean, he's working out. He has a gym in his office. I mean, not in his office, but in the office building.
That's the gym I was talking about earlier that has the neon lights, and it's like literally like he made it when he was coked out and had $1 million.
And Undertaker still waits for Vince for the gym. Like he would have to wait. Like he was in Titan Towers, and then he waited like 20 minutes or something afterwards.
And Michelle McCool, she really wants Taker to get out of wrestling, and
understandably so, considering that dude has about 20 surgeries.
For lack of a better term, she seems pretty cool. Michelle McCool. She's like, what? Sure, I'm sure they both have their ways, but she seems like a nice person. At least that's how she comes off on the show.
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm surprised. Like since like it's been that feud with AJ Styles has been like so pseudo work. Like they weren't going to that meta where Undertaker would talk about how Michelle McCool does a better Styles Clash than AJ Styles.
She does. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you can only do so much with the Styles Clash. But anyway,
did she do the Styles Clash?
Yeah, that was her move. That's what it. I mean, I remember the internet being up in arms when that happened.
Cool Clash. I'm kidding. Nonetheless, injuries you were talking about.
AEW Dynamite. It happened last night. People fucked around, and they fucked around a little bit too much.
Ring rust.
So, the first of 3 injuries. One was of Britt Baker during a tag team match. She looked. I'm just going to read it off the Observer because I can't write or do anything right.
Sure.
Britt Baker looked to have seriously injured her right knee in a tag match with Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander, and Hikaru Shida. Britt Baker was sitting in the corner when Statlander and Shida slammed Rose on her bent right knee. Baker immediately grabbed her knee and shin and continued to work for a few spots afterwards. Clearly unable to put any weight on it, Rose dragged her to the corner and tagged herself in, allowing AEW doctor Doc Sampson to check on Baker. She's scheduled to face Statlander in a singles match Saturday. Not bloody likely. Maybe. I don't know. We haven't gotten any update in regards to that, but she was clearly injured in that match.
It's not a title match, so I mean, I guess they could replace.
We'll get there,
match. Yeah.
And also, Phoenix appeared to be injured following a big dive spot onto the competitors for Saturday's Casino ladder match, landing hard on his back and hip on the outside of the ring. He was said to be hurting, but should be fine for the ladder match because Phoenix is fucking insane.
Yes.
As we
relatively young too, so they all are, but
yeah, he's gonna feel that one in the morning. Yeah. Not in the morning, but like maybe like in 10 years.
Yesterday, whenever you're watching this.
And one that surprised me the most, honestly, because it was the less visible, Matt Jackson may have injured a rib on his left side, either a break, torn cartilage, or a bad bruise on a dive he and brother Nick did from the stand. So not only is Nick not 100%, but now it's Matt Ooh, I don't know. It's
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Cody can join the match.
Yeah, he'll work double.
Yeah, and well, he's part of the elite, so like when one member of the elite falls, the
Peter
other,
Avalon.
He's QT Marshall. Technically, he's part of the extended.
No, he's part of the Nightmare family. Remember, there's subcategories to this. You know how like Cable can be part of the X-Men, but then he could also be X-Force.
Yeah, he's like NWO Japan. QT Marshall.
Sure. Yeah, that's the group you reference.
Because it's like elite Nightmare family, which is a part of it, and the Nightmare Collective is a part of the Nightmare family, or the whatever.
Anyway, let's talk about Dynamite.
Let's talk. Let's just get right into Dynamite, shall we?
Yay! We Dynamite, May 20th, 2020. Like those numbers. We get Liev Schreiber going over the Double or Nothing programs. One thing to note, they call Moxley versus Brody the main event, which I don't know, man. I don't know. Inner Circle arrive with a limousine. Jericho calls Marvez to shut his ass when asked what he's going to do to the Elite. He gets called a nincompoop, you know the like. Everyone in Daly's place except Sean Spears are wearing AEW branded masks. I hope the proceeds of that mask goes to a charity and not into AEW's pockets, because that would be a great look. Jon Moxley versus 10 of the Dark Order. Brody Lee enters with Mox's AEW championship. JR calls it a heavyweight championship, which I never usually hear, because AEW operates with a certain, they operate like a certain thing with their weight designations, i.e. they don't have any.
I think in wrestling, the term heavyweight is loose.
It just implies importance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Lee addresses the viewers at home, eye to eye. On commentary, Tony doubts that the Dark Order might be a cult. Brody Lee thanks them, wishes the faces heckling him would be adults and let him speak, asks for 10 to take a knee, a proper knee, says he can't relate to the audience because of how cool he is, says he's no god, but a man who has come into possession with the AEW belt. He has to win the title to pay off the loyalty of his Dark Order goons, designates 10 as a high knight of the Dark Order. And then at this point, Tony says he was wrong. This is a cult.
This is just weird. It feels like he just took the Dark Order from Evil Uno and Stu Grayson.
I mean, they were always, but then Grayson and Uno, they always talked about the Exalted One.
Yeah, but where are they? They just feel like not a part of it. Like, who is this guy? He's a high knight now. Is he over Evil Uno? Is he over Stu Grayson? And who's the guy in the turtleneck? Is that 10?
No, 10 is the guy with no shirt on.
No, I know. But there's so many things that just that don't connect with what the Dark Order was to what it is now.
They don't know what they're doing with the Dark Order.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
I didn't like this promo. It didn't help the fact that, and I feel like I can say this for most of the promos, that there just wasn't there. I feel like there needed to be silence when Brody Lee was making this promo, because he was clearly flustered by the heckling, actually, because like with
his coworkers heckling him.
Yeah, it's just his coworkers. There's a difference when it's an audience and you would want that heat, but then it's just when that you would rather have 200 people. You would rather have 200 people talking over you than 20 people, because the 20 people is arguably louder than the 200 people in your mind.
Yeah.
And if this was the go home promo for Brody Lee, and I'll get to that a bit later on to the show, it didn't convince me. And so, yeah. Mox enters with no nonsense, knees the face of 10, tosses him around. 10 gets him offense, a spine buster. Mox escapes a fireman's carry, gets the paradigm shift, but doesn't go for the pin. Mox then does a gotch-style pile driver, shades of his stepdad Minoru Suzuki, doesn't go for the pin again, does another paradigm shift, and then pins him. This was nothing but a tune-up fight. I thought Vanilla Vance was decent, but this is what it needed to be.
Jon Moxley reminds me of like my 10-year-old self, just like really angry and just like tries to act tough all the time. But that's
so any 10-year-old.
Yeah, pretty much. Like any 10-year-old boy who's just like watches wrestling is Jon Moxley. Like they want to fight everybody and they want to prove they're a badass.
I mean, you listen to Moxley interviews, that guy is pretty much like a 10-year-old in terms of excitement of what he wants to do with being a wrestler. Like he created his own wrestler and now he wants to do everything that he wants with it. Like, yeah.
He super kicked his wife for a roll of toilet paper.
Hey, man. It's hard to come by. Yeah, he had no choice.
Hard times, baby, hard time.
Post-match, Mox brings out some chairs and a mic, removes Ten's elbow, and tries to break his arm with his chair. There was a line that he said he tells him to stop. Like, he just says, "Stop squirming!" I thought that was really funny. Says Dark Order is trying to punk him out. Gives Lee 10 seconds to bring the title back or else he's going to break his arm. Lee talks to Mox via Titantron and pretty much says 10 is but a sacrifice. Mox then says he'll see us on Saturday and smashes 10's arm perfectly timed to Mox's theme, but it stops for a second, which kind of messed up the momentum. I really love the fact that as soon as he hits the chair on, it's like, and then it stopped, and I'm like, I could tell Moxley was kind of pissed off about that, but what are you gonna do?
How are you gonna do?
It's that, and that's our main event for Double or Nothing, which
we'll see.
Baffling to me. Yeah, I know plans could change.
Well, I mean, we'll see if it's a good match. I don't.
It has to be now.
Well, it can't just has to be. We'll see if it is. This is not going to be the greatest wrestling match.
That's the only thing it
ever.
has. I'm saying it's the only thing it has. It's going for now at this point because the build up and promotion won't be.
Yeah.
God damn it! My headphones are just being on one side. I'm trying to fix it. Anyway.
Yeah, we should get headphone sponsors. Come on, guys. Come on, Beat. Send us free headphones.
MJF versus Marco Stunt. MJF is sizing up Marco just like what everybody does to him. Sunset flip, and we were about to get an Aloha Max, but he flips us off and throws Marco around some more. MJF sets Marco up for a superplex, but tells Tony to say, "This is what Jungle Boy's future looks like." As Tony says, "I'm not going to say that, you big-mouthed brat." Tony is really revving up the hatred for MJF. Like, you would, to a point where I feel like we're kind of inching towards an angle with MJF and Tony where he's going to hit Tony for the maximum amount of heat. Like, you wait for a crowd for that one. You punch Tony Schiavone, you are not going to leave that building alive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Marco gets some comeback, but MJF gets the salt of the earth for the submission victory. Post-match, MJF makes Marco try to kiss the ring, but punches him with the ring because, it's a phrase.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus fend Wardlow off and MJF. MJF yells out Jungle Boy. MJF yells out Jungle Boy sucks as this segment comes to a close, which, this is the best MJF has looked in a streak of weeks. I think he continues to be pretty good.
It was a match with Marco Stunt.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at it.
Makes the guy fucking look like Mark Henry.
Yeah, no, I'm looking on the side of how this benefits MJF, which it kind of did. It did. Yeah. All right. Jake the Snake Roberts versus Arn Anderson, basically in a Tony Schiavone interview match.
The family cookout dinner.
Yep, the family cookout dinner. Yeah. The barbecue. The two uncles getting too drunk too early, just saying anything. And that's pretty much what.
You know what? I don't care.
They mentioned Mike Tyson about 15 times in the span of 2 minutes because he is
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Jake says it's surreal. Jake says it's surreal to never facing Arn he says it's surreal that he never faced Arn in the ring, which, it is pretty surreal. Says Lance Archer is a mean son of a bitch. Asks if it's Arn's weekend pass at the retirement home, which is funny. Arn says he's got goosebumps and said they're the type to sell piss ants to a freight train.
What was it? Jake says, "You're looking a little thick over there, Arn."
Yeah, that's what a creep. Jake says he's been to hell and back and that he's willing to go back with Arn.
Yeah.
Someone probably forgot their line, and Arn asks him to say it again. Arn asks for some. Yeah. And Arn asks for some decorum. Asks if Jake is going to get to put the snake on Tyson. Says Lance can take on Tyson and hope Brandy would present the belt and wouldn't mind bumping into her again. Arn says Cody has to win because he is past being to Dusty's son and is destined to be the leader that he is meant to be in All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Arn then asks if Jake does DDP yoga because he wants him to be limber when he spine busters Jake's ass. It's a pretty hard thing to do. Jake flips the table and grabs Tony, and then they are separated by the refs. Again, they're
gonna have a match.
This is in promotion for Cody versus Lance Archer. Like,
they're gonna have a match, I think.
They're definitely gonna tussle in the pay-per-view. Since they're gonna be.
I just want to see them tussle, like literally, like just lock up and just lock up for 5 minutes, and then
because that's what Cody and Lance Archer
and then roll around on the ground and then pulling hair and biting.
I'll say this: like, this segment was good, but this isn't go home show good. Like this is something you do. I want to say the second week of the build up.
Times have changed, baby. Listen, we're in a different era. It's pandemic era. We gotta look at things differently.
I mean this, and like the Cody was not on the show. His absence was super felt. I thought this guy should have he should have done one go home promo, and I think they're gonna do that on tomorrow or like on Friday's Road to Double or Nothing show on TNT. Really, that's kind of just their Hail Mary for me, actually, to be sold on this, not only this match, but this pay-per-view. I just thought, this show really needed Cody. But yeah, Jake and Arn, I thought this was like Shaq and Charles Barkley arguing with each other from inside the NBA. Like, I think TNT just needed that quota.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think this is a go-home. This is what you put on a go-home show for Double or Nothing. This is what you put in the third or second week on the build-up. And then the next week, you would have the match with the people who are actually wrestling in that match for the TNT Championship. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Darby Allin student film time. He's with his skate friends, probably playing poker. His friends are wearing paper cutout faces of his ladder match opponents. He sets a ladder on fire and he's on it, and that's it. That was pretty good. It was just, it's Darby Allin. It's on brand.
Darby Allin.
And then we get another video package reminding us that Pac is still alive. He's forced to stay at home.
Still here.
And he calls Orange Cassidy a cocky little prick as he burns some pictures and implies.
Did they already have a match?
Orange Cassidy and Pac?
Yeah.
Revolution.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's calling out Orange Cassidy because he's fighting Phoenix, who is a member of the Death Triangle.
That's true.
That's Pac. So,
I agree.
It was nice to see Pac.
Concurred.
Wang whatever from wherever. Orange Cassidy versus Rey Phoenix. Orange Cassidy walks casually, but then as he walks casually, he dodges Phoenix kick the same way he did last week, which I thought was a nice callback.
I thought he got hit last week by it.
No, it's last week. He got hit last week, and then he just and then he just marches around like casually dodging the kick, the same way he did last week, and I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Hands in his pockets offense from Orange. Phoenix does this amazing springboard leg drop from the second rope. Baseball slide onto the camera from Phoenix. Orange Cassidy gets monster offense. Tornado DDT for a near fall. Diving DDT to Phoenix. Jumping corner powerbomb from Phoenix. Muscle buster bomb gets countered into a pin attempt on Phoenix. Air raid crash from Orange Cassidy. I'm just naming moves because that's all they pretty much did here. And then Kip Sabian gets a ladder out to distract Orange Cassidy and the ref, as Phoenix low blows Orange Cassidy to a Phoenix cutter for the 1, 2, 3. This match, man, you give these guys 5 more minutes and a crowd, they would have burned this fucking place down.
Yeah.
I hope this isn't the last we see between these two, and it probably won't be.
No.
So the post match, Corey. SCU tips the ladder over so Kip Sabian can do a scary ass looking fall. And everybody involved in the ladder match just fight each other. Phoenix does an outside dive and lands straight on his back, as we described earlier in the show, considering his possible injury, but apparently he's fine because, again, fucking crazy. Then Colt Cabana comes out. He does an Asahi moonsault on everybody, and then OC does a dive off Best Friends as they celebrate on the ladder. Man, I thought Lance Archer was working 2 matches on this preview because in this segment, everybody died.
I get it.
Yeah. And speaking of, we're not done with injuries. Chris Statlander and YouTube sensation Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose and Dr. Britt Baker. Yeah, did you see Hikaru Shida has a new YouTube channel? She's getting in on that Asuka money, man.
You got to rank in on that money. Well, Asuka's pretty good. She does like some editing now, and she Super Saiyans up sometimes. And
she does outdoor camping on the backyard. We're not here to talk about Asuka. We're talking about Hikaru Shida.
Not yet, at least.
Tony can't put his finger on what makes Britt Baker so evil. God bless him. They added lyrics to Nyla's song. Not a good sign for Shida coming into the pay-per-view. Shida wants her kendo stick back. Like, she just points at it like, no, give me that. I want it.
It's mine.
I need that. I paid it. I still haven't paid the deposit on that.
Didn't Nyla give it back to her last week? She's like, found your kendo stick, bitch.
No, she took it. She clearly has it with her still.
Oh, so she was like, here it is.
Yeah.
Stole it.
Bell hasn't rung, but Baker runs into a kendo stick as they were doing like a tug of war with the kendo. Sheeta and Nyla were doing a tug of war, and then Britt Baker just runs into it. And then Sheeta stat double team on Nyla. More pounce to the ounce from Nyla to stat. Baker gets forced to tag in. Hate? Why didn't I put right? Hate. Oh, Heat gets built, but Sheeta gets a hot tag and comeback. Elevated apron knee strike on Baker. Statlander has Nyla on an electric chair face slam, followed with a missile dropkick from Sheeta for a 2 count. Then Nyla gets tossed onto the corner on Baker, who seems to have landed straight to her knee, which messes her up for the entire match. Like, as soon as this happens, this match just falls apart. Yeah. Like, you would, to a point where I feel like Baker was probably into like written into the finish of this match, but you lose Baker. What the fuck else do we do?
Yeah.
So yeah, Baker has her knee tended to by Dr. Sampson. A very, very rough-looking destroyer attempt from Sheeta to Nyla Rose because physics. Then a beast bomb on Sheeta for the pin and win. Sheeta getting pinned going into the title match. Again, I feel like that was like if they were gonna do that.
But did she go over in the go home? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but then like I would think that it would be Statlander would be taking the pin at this point.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So this match fell apart, but then it's to a point where I can't really criticize it too heavily, considering how much this injury from Baker just kind of everything fell apart.
Yeah.
Then post match, Sheeta gets pinned. Okay, Nyla sets up Sheeta for a splash on Sheeta through a table, but gets a superplex from Sheeta instead. Everything was a mess. So yeah, Sheeta gets her heat back. And
yeah, Sheeta puts Nyla through a table, right?
Yeah, superplex.
Superplex.
Yeah, and then you see Statlander tending to Sheeta afterwards. Yeah, it was nice. John Moxley is with Alex Marvez. He says everything is a reduction to violence. 280 pounds upside down, forced to the ground. Brody Lee will go down. Which,
yeah, he rhymes.
Yeah. I don't think he rhymed. I think I just did that unintentionally.
Oh.
Lee will have nothing but three-piece suits and a bunch of dudes in gimp masks, as if he doesn't have that already. Sean Spears does a Randy Orton 2002 gimmick with the Sean Spears News Network, the SSN.
I hated this.
My headphones are still being an asshole. Reports that Dustin Rhodes has retired from wrestling, which Sean concurs, showing true journalistic integrity with zero bias whatsoever. Says swallowing pills would be familiar to Dustin. Jeez. And he wants a match at Double or Nothing, preferably against Dustin Rhodes. Commentary team questions if the Spears-Dustin matchup is going to happen, and then right afterward, they get a graphic confirming the match. Like, okay, no.
This was such
screw it.
This was so WWE, though, this whole segment.
Yeah, but then at least, JR took it in the chin, at least. Whenever they act like it's WWE, it's more just okay, I guess we're going to do it.
I was hoping he was going to say, well, that was entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, was it entertainment, Corey? You seem to have opinions about this segment.
It was kind of funny, but it was just so WWE. It just, I don't know. I didn't think AEW would do something exactly like that. So it was just shocking to see that.
I think they're just trying things with Sean Spears. I think he did a pretty good job with it. I'm not sold on that. I even question if this is gonna be a thing week 2, week after. Is it gonna keep doing this? I think
might be a 1 week thing.
I think they're just gonna just
nip it in the bud.
They're just flinging stuff and see what sticks.
Yeah.
They go over the Double or Nothing card. Tony amps up the hatred towards MJF as I mentioned before.
I hate you, MJF. You're so bad. I'm Tony Schiavone.
And then they announce next week there's a battle royale, and the winner faces the TNT champion on June 3rd. Should be good.
Royale with cheese in America is called a quarter pounder with cheese.
I did not know that, Corey. Sammy Guevara video promo says Matt Hardy was trying to kill him with the golf cart. Goes over the past 2 weeks, Vanguard dying and all that. Main event time: Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy. Not the Exalted One, Damascus, broken Matt Hardy. They walk and brawl on the outside. Matt drills Sammy's face onto the post, which you can lovingly see in our thumbnail. Sammy gets thrown into the barricade. Matt does a twist of fate, but Sammy lands on his hands and kicks Matt on the back of his head. JR says, Matt Hardy has wrestled for 27 years. Sammy Guevara is 26. Like me. Sammy went for a cutter, but is countered by Matt. Bret Hart corner bump from Matt. Matt bangs Sammy's head onto the top, middle, and bottom turnbuckles. Like it was really funny. It was like, you ever seen that movie The Raid? There's a part in that movie where he just bashes somebody's head like in multiple levels of someone's wall, wall. And then you see Sammy where his head gets bashed on the top turnbuckle, and then the second turnbuckle, and then the third.
Well, he did that in WWE too. I remember.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's a cool move. I like it.
Side effect for a 2, Sammy misses a shooting star press and gets a twist of fate for the 1-2 kick out. To everyone's surprise. I thought this was the ending of the match. Matt removes Sammy's shoe and just bites on it. I guess Quentin Tarantino booked this match. Springboard cutter off the top from Sammy for a near fall. Another shooting star press, rollover pin attempt for 2. But Matt sets up for the twist of fate for the pin and win. Post-match, Matt gets a chair, but as soon as he's about to hit Sammy, Jericho appears on the Titantron in Stadium with Brown Powerful and Hager as they beat up Omega. First off, this match, Hardy, Guevara, I didn't think this match was great, but I still think that Sammy Guevara is great.
Yeah.
The way that he handled himself in this match with somebody like Matt Hardy. Like Matt Hardy, he's no as good as he looks, he's no spring chicken, but to see Sammy Guevara really go toe to toe and really maintain my interest.
Yeah.
You know, him being as entertaining as hell, him landing on his hands for those twist of fates, like man, that kid will go far. I remember thinking that what's his name? I forgot his name. The guy who removes his pants. Angel Garza. As much as I think that guy is like more or less the next Eddie Guerrero, I see a lot more.
Why did I think
that in Sammy Guevara?
They
have similar looking pants.
Okay.
Yeah. It was an all right match. What did you think of it?
It was a match. I mean, I watch AEW in the background, you know what I mean? So I wasn't paying super close attention to the match. But, I mean, Sammy Guevara was good. Matt Hardy.
Sammy Vergara is my...
Yeah, Sammy Vergara.
That's my cousin.
Is it really? Do you have a cousin named Sammy Vergara?
No. But yeah. Post-match, Matt gets a chair. Yeah. Young Bucks make the... I'm going to rewind a little bit. Post-match, Matt gets a chair, but as soon as he's about to hit Sammy, Jericho appears on the Titantron in the stadium with Brown Powerful and Hager as they beat up Omega. Like, they just, he's tied to the goalpost, and they just, throw water at him. Like, Jesus. And then after that, Young Bucks make their return to make the save, and then so they all brawl and everybody, and then you see this lone, shadowy figure running from
bigger and bigger.
across the field around the 60-yard line, and then you see out in the distance and about the 60-yard line, you see motherfucking Adam Page run all 60 yards in less than 10 seconds. God damn it, lariats Hager to. I mean, that was probably my moment of the night.
Yeah.
Hangman Adam Page, he's back, motherfuckers.
He's back and he's better than ever.
They stare down and jaw jack each other as we get a zoom out of the Bucks, Matt Hardy and Omega posing for the elite sign as the BTE theme plays, while Hangman just walks off in the distance. So all is still not well.
Running 60 yards. He's like, I can't look gassed in front of
in cowboy boots, nonetheless.
Yeah. And his jeans and his cowboy shirt, his early 90s cowboy shirt.
Yeah, is it early 90s or is it like 80s?
It seems very early 90s to me. Late 80s, early 90s to me.
I like how that guy. I like how he never wears a cowboy hat though. You notice that? Like he's
Yeah.
Like it's very subtle.
Maybe like a trucker hat one of these days. But they'll be
that was his original. He used to do that in ROH. He would. Maybe you subconsciously said that when you when you Google image search Adam Page at 3 a.m.
Didn't do that. Not at all. Not me.
Wouldn't be me either. Yeah, that was AEW. I'm gonna say it right now. This is as a go home show. I asked you this last week. I'm gonna ask you again. Are you sold on Double or Nothing? Or will you be willing to pay $50 for this pay-per-view? You don't. Come on. Like you just.
I don't know. Yeah, like if I had money in my account, if I had $50 to spend on it, yeah, I would. And that's the only That's the only factor at play.
It's a tough sell, honestly.
So-
$50 for that's not something to scoff at in these times.
No.
Or at least, just throw away at this time. And
If I was
listen,
a lottery winner,
you want to go over the card a little bit?
what we
I'll
got?
just read it out loud.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing AEW 2020. We don't have to get too much into.
You're gonna read out what you're typing out loud is what you meant, right?
Yeah, and I lost connection with my mouse. Now I have to use my trackpad because Apple's Magic Mouse is a piece of fucking shit. All right, Cody versus Lance Archer, tournament final for the inaugural AEW TNT Championship. The more I think about it, the more you think Archer should win it, and I would agree with you, but I think there would be a lot more upswing if Cody wins it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I know you have that mentality of having, we can't have two-face champions, but why the fuck not?
No, I didn't think that.
Why the fuck not? I think Cody. Honestly, I think it would be a lot more. It would serve a lot more if Cody wins this. I don't want to see him lose again.
I don't
honestly
think Lance Archer should be slayed right now.
But then,
Pretty much it.
Then I guess it's just more or less don't book the match. But this is Double or Nothing.
Cody booked himself in a position already where he can't challenge for any world title, or he can't challenge for the world title. So he's already booked himself stupidly with that. So it's
not stupid. It was more or less brings intrigue to the. At the time, I didn't think it was stupid. I thought it was a meaningful stipulation.
Come back to the podcast on that date. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah, everything's recorded. But yeah, I think Cody should win. You think Lance Archer should win?
Yes.
MJF versus Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy! MJF. Sorry,
it seems like they're putting MJF over a lot, to make Jungle Boy look strong.
They haven't done squat with Jungle Boy other than Marco Stunt getting his ass kicked.
I think Jungle Boy should win.
Jungle Boy can win. It's not impossible.
I think he should.
Is this your APW bias?
No, well, yes, but no. MJF has been put over the past couple weeks, and for him to go over on Jungle Boy is like, okay. But for Jungle Boy to go over on him, it's like, whoa, he beat MJF. Okay, this guy.
But then they haven't. But then Jungle Boy hasn't. If you don't watch Road to Double or Nothing, like if all you do is watch Dynamite, Jungle Boy is kind of whatever. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is that they just haven't done much for Jungle Boy in the build-up.
Right. And that comes from the perspective of somebody who just watches Dynamite. So, it seems like whatever right now. But if he does beat MJF and have a great match, you'll be like, okay, this guy Jungle Boy, watch out for him.
But then if all they did was build up for MJF on Dynamite, it would just be kind of counterproductive.
No, you're building up the heel for the good guy to take out. Nonetheless, okay. I guess we agree to disagree, Michael.
Moxley versus Brody Lee. Moxley. It has to be Moxley. Again, like I said, all this match has going for is the match itself now. Because to me, honestly, they kind of failed to build this up to anything meaningful. You said it last week that Brody Lee you're not sold on Brody Lee.
No.
And I was willing to wait. I was willing to wait and give Brody Lee more chances than he probably should have. But given how he was presented in this on this show, it
stinks.
It's a swing and a miss, honestly. And they apparently have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they're doing something, but I don't think they are really seeing this very well.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Ladder match for a future AEW World Championship match. Darby Allin versus Colt Cabana versus Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix versus Scorpio Sky versus Kip Sabian versus Frankie Kazarian versus Luchasaurus versus TBA. Who do you think is going to be the mystery opponent?
Who do they have signed that?
Brian Cage.
That's the only person I can think of, yeah.
But then he's also injured, and do you want him to be in a ladder match, the first match?
Do they have a really strong guy in there besides Luchasaurus? I feel like this is like the hair waving pub. We're like, podcast. Like we're both.
Dude, we're all in our fucking quarantine haircut too, and I'm looking at it like I look like Jim from The Office. Well, I don't look like Jim from The Office, but yeah. I want Phoenix to win. I think Darby Allin will probably win.
Who else could it be though? none of the WWE guys can show up because they're still in their 90-day no compete.
Dude, what the hell? It's just, Scorpio Sky.
I think Scorpio Sky could win it. I mean, to give him another shot, but
like he's the out of nowhere winner. You know, he's the
Yeah.
dark horse, for lack of a better term.
and if you turn SCU heel, you can have them kind of be a legitimate threat to the title.
I mean, I feel like SCU should have been heel a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So out of these 9 individuals, I'm just gonna give my 3, which is Darby Allin, Scorpio Sky, and Rey Fenix.
Yeah.
Most likely. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. No disqualification and no countout match for the AEW Women's World Championship. So there must be a winner. I want Shida to win because I just think there's more. Like I said, same with Cody versus Lance Archer. There's a lot more upswing in the face going over in this match. I want Shida. I think Shida is ready for that position.
Yeah.
Not even though it'd be a little bit too early for Nyla Rose to.
I don't know. I like Nyla sometimes.
Yeah, but then she doesn't really bring much other than her character. That's all she kind of has. And if you really want to build this, if you really want to up this division, I think you need to bring match quality up. And I feel like you're able to do that with Hikaru Shida. But yeah, I mean, and she's there.
We can move on to other
all the time.
heels, but
and there's also more heels to work with because with
Britt
Nyla
Baker,
Rose,
if Britt Baker is going to be out now, then if you can't have Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida later down the road,
and it doesn't have this is AEW. Like they don't have, they're not bound by like face versus heel dynamics. You can have a face versus face sort of thing.
I know what you mean, but that's what they said. But at the end of the day, there's going to be faces, there's going to be heels, and they fight each other.
Dabayan, Private Party versus Best Friends. Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn versus Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent. I think Best Friends are going to probably win this. They've been building them up for quite some time.
I think they're going to take the titles from Hangman Page and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I like Best Friends. I think they're kind of underrated.
Yeah,
to be honest.
And
they kind of deserve it. I wouldn't be mad if they took
Trent is a very world-renowned wrestler. He's a great wrestler, you know.
He went to Japan.
He's wrestled in New Japan, WWE, and AEW now. So
yeah. And then Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears, aka the Fuck It match. I think this is a match Dustin Rhodes just needs on his win column. I don't see Shawn Spears winning this, but he definitely could. I don't know.
Yeah.
Think about that. We've been saying this a lot now as we go through this card. Like, yeah, sure. I don't know. Like, is this $50? Does this sound like $50 to you?
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. It really doesn't.
Yeah. And then what I consider the main event of this night, Stadium Stampede match, the Elites, Matt Hardy, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. This should be a spectacle. This and the ladder match are probably going to be the 2 matches I'm most looking forward to. I don't think that's necessarily a very hot take.
Yeah. Well, the Stampede match, I mean, it's going to be cool because it's all around the whole arena. You can separate the guys and do 5 different kind of fights.
I feel like it's in their best interest to go fucking crazy.
I think this is their response to Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
They're, okay, you want to do Titan Towers? We're going to do the Stadium Stampede.
There's some crazy shit's about to go down. Honestly, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of sold on wanting to see it, But yeah, Double or Nothing.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time had by all this Saturday, May 23rd, right? 23rd? Yeah. May 23rd on your local pay-per-view provider. Check your local.
BR Live.
BR Live this weekend. Double or Nothing. AEW.
As far as post-show is concerned, you're going to be out of town? Is that what you told me?
We'll talk later. Let's talk.
Okay. Not promising anything in regards to a post show is what I'll say.
Anyways, let's talk about NXT, shall we?
Yep. Let
me just move this so I can see my face and my notes at the same time. There we go. Kicked off with a graphic, of course, for Shad Gaspard, in loving memory of him. But the first match tonight, Karrion Kross has his match tonight against Liam.
Liam? That's it?
Yeah. I don't know. They didn't say his name, but his trunk said Liam. So I go with Liam.
Again, Karrion Kross, aka I'm so angry.
You know, it's weird because Scarlett's not singing not lip syncing the whole intro now, so she does lip sync some of it, but
she'll lip sync when she feels like it, Corey. That's how angry they are.
Okay, I'm sorry. But it was a complete squash match. The cross jacket to Liam, which is basically a headlock. He gets submission victory over Liam. After the match, Daddy returns because out comes Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa introduced himself to Karrion Kross and said that everything in this arena belongs to him. Ciampa says there's something special about Kross. He's seen it in him for a while. And Ciampa then gets into the ring and says that even though Kross is special, so is he, and tells him at TakeOver it's going to be them two going at it in a match. And then Ciampa just walks out with no music. It was really weird.
I'll say
very
this.
Quiet.
You played Doom, right?
I've played Doom.
Whenever Karrion Kross does his entrance where his like arms are up, it's like he's like, look at me.
Yeah, I see.
When he gets his arms up, he reminds me of one of the enemies from Doom. He reminds me of the Archvile. If I still had Creative Cloud, I would have done some editing to really intersperse those two together because he reminds me of the Doom enemy. Yeah.
Anyways,
that's all I got to contribute. Karrion Kross, he's his gimmick of being angry and showing all his teeth.
He's
he's good. I've always championed Killer Kross for a very long time. It's just, it's got that WWE NXT stank on it now.
Yeah. Then we have B block match for the Cruiserweight Interim Championship Tournament. El Hijo del Fantasma versus Akira Tozawa.
Is it me or this feels like this has been going on for like 6 months now?
It definitely feels like a G1.
I mean,
Lucha Libre versus Puro Resu styles here. Even Natalia calls it out. Running senton to Phantasma, which is a really cool spot, going into the outside. Frog splash to Akira Tozawa while he's on the apron. Tozawa has a fantastic German suplex. I mean,
Phantasm suplex?
It's fantastic German suplex on Phantasma. Tozawa then goes for a springboard Spanish fly, but Phantasma reverses and drops Tozawa on the turnbuckle directed on Tozawa's knees, or his ribs, I'm sorry. Eventually, Phantasma hits the Phantom Driver, and he gets the pin and the win. Phantasma wins the B block in the G1. I'm sorry, the Cruiserweight Interim Championship.
Breaking news.
Red Robin Tournament. Breaking news.
Ric Flair re-signed with WWE.
Whoa! And what kind of dream matches will we see from Ric Flair?
Death. They'll probably have a really big. You know what? That's I don't know, man. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see that because like Undertaker just re-signed. Also, I think he signed a 15-year contract with WWF, and then so he'll be 70 when he doesn't.
Ric Flair is 70.
And Ric Flair is 70, so he may have just signed the rest of his life away to WWE. Theoretically speaking, because I'm assuming that contract is just forever. He
gets to go to events and be like, "Listen, baby, that's Dustin or Dusty."
I just read that. This is what
Silent Profile.
11:16 a.m. He says, "Limit the and Ryan and Jeff Lyons style and profiling. Then now forever with WWE." So forever.
Right on.
I just
El Hijo del Fantasma wins the B block in the Cruiserweight tournament. So
yay.
Thatcher video package says last week he left the Riddle Circus. He had so much fun. He wants to do it one more time, but no pinfalls. He wants Circus. He wants to end in either knockout or tap out.
So pretty much a Josh Barnett Bloodsport match.
Yes, that's how I figured.
How are you not looking forward to this?
No, that's how I figured it. I didn't say I'm not looking forward to it.
Okay, but you weren't last week.
No, I wasn't last week. I mean, it's seeming more and more like it's going to be an MMA cage fight, not like an actual cage match.
From two people who knows how to fucking do that. More for Riddle, but yeah.
And then we had a Shotzi Blackheart video package.
I'm from Oakland, California.
Like by far, I fucking thought this was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I think it's. What do you have written down?
So Shotzi, she's on a tank. She says she's from Oakland, California. She's about one thing: TCB, taking care of business.
According to Wikipedia, she's from LA, but yeah, you do you.
She's mostly from Oakland, California. She's trained. She's lived in Oakland for a long time. Most people like to take Uber, she says, but she rolls around in a tank named Blondie.
Oh my god, dude!
And then she says, "This is what I'm going to do to the women's division." I thought she was going to blow some shit up, and I was like, "Oh, please blow some shit up. That would be awesome." But no,
she's going to Darby Allin the entire thing. It's just going to be like effigies of just the women's division.
She starts rolling over these cars, and she's like, "Yeah, that's Chelsea Green, stupid makeup," which I thought that part was kind of dumb, but nonetheless, I loved it. She calls it. I thought it was
she has a really good voice. She has a really good look.
She does.
The line and her delivery of those lines, I thought were super fucking cringeworthy.
She said her dad showed her motorcycles.
So the next logical conclusion is tanks.
No, it was punk rock. It was punk rock. It was punk rock after that, and then punk rock led to wrestling because it's natural transition.
I think she just likes the movie Tank. I think she just likes the movie Tank Girl. She's a real Lori Petty fan.
Well, I tried to watch that movie once, but
yep, everybody did. Everybody tried.
She howls, and it was a segment, and it was great. I loved every second of it.
I was cringing throughout.
Next up, what's up?
Yeah, Oakland, California. I mean, she really does give a East Bay vibes. Like she's somebody that you'd run into in the Mission at Friday night.
She trained in the same gym as Mansoor.
Yeah, Sammy, not Sammy.
Manny Favorino.
Manny, not Sammy.
Mia Yim versus Santana Garrett. I feel like Garrett is the woman of 1,000 gimmicks.
She's a mechanic.
Well, she was a mechanic, and then she dresses as a superhero one time, and then another time she dresses like this time she's dressed like a referee.
She's the Sean Spears of the NXT women's division.
Yeah. This is a short match. Protect your neck to Garrett because she's apparently paid to take squashes. I don't know. Mia Yim gets the win, but the highlight of this match is afterwards while they're playing Mia Yim's theme music, and you just hear Johnny Gargano, "I'm the HBIC, put up." He's singing along with the theme song.
He is completely absurd. He has become a character of himself.
He's great. I love it.
Hey, listen, if this is the direction that they're taking with him, he's going all the way with it. He seems to be having a lot of fun.
The Garganos come out to the ring, Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. They come to the ring and they feel that Yim dropped the ball and want to show them what it happens in their NXT when someone drops the ball. Then
and Gargano knows a thing or two of dropping the ball.
Oh! Yim kicks Gargano out of the ring. LeRae attacks from behind. Yim knocked out of the ring with the assist by Gargano. Out comes Keith Lee because, they're friends. Wink.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't. I mean, this is a podcast first. Remember that.
Lee and Yim scare off the Garganos. Keith Lee and Mia Yim scare off the Garganos, and oh no, scary.
Didn't
people.
Didn't Mia Yim kick Gargano in the face or something?
Yeah. Well, she knocked him out of the ring first. Then we go to Cameron Grimes video package, which was I thought was a pretty good video package. Cameron Grimes, he's screaming and yelling. He says Grimes is he's bragging about beating up Balor last week, I believe, in a Florida cornfield, because, when you think corn, you think Florida. He doesn't care about anyone and thinks it's grime time. So he's starting to win me over a little bit, I'll be honest.
Did you not watch his matches?
No, it's just his racist tweets from years ago that just keep popping up in my head.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good reason.
They just keep popping like, oh, he's good. Bam, there it is. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Then we have Mackenzie with Drake Maverick backstage. He's tired of people second-guessing. He's tired of second-guessing himself. He said he's tired of people giving him pep talks or a TED talk or whatever. He's going to go out there. He says he's going to leave it all on the line tonight. And then we have Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis, which I think is really funny because Roderick Strong comes out to the ring and Fish and Adam Cole come out with him. And Cole says to the camera next week, we're going to have the 1-year championship You're scaring me like Dexter Lumis. He's going to celebrate his 1-year championship reign next week. I feel like this is a makeup for his longest championship victory, which was supposed to be had a couple weeks ago.
Fuck.
That's what happens to Dexter Lumis. You just don't see it happen.
Oh, yeah. I hit my knee on my desk.
So like I said, I think this is a makeup for his. Remember, he was breaking Balor's record a month or so ago, and they were going to have a celebration. But Adam Cole.
Okay.
Stop doing your hair on. You're on camera.
I know. That's how I see it.
You know, they were talking about. Anyways, next week championship celebration, 1 year. Adam Cole. Morrow says Lumis wakes up in a cold sweat, but he means that means to him it's a good night's sleep. So I just thought you guys needed to know that. It was very
Looks like he sweats a lot.
This is a very slow match, starting off with a lot of holds. Loomer looks good visually, but he is greener than my stool sample. Olympic slam to Lumis, followed by a kick out. Don't give me that look. I need more.
Watch the video version of this podcast to see what Michael looked like when Corey talked about his stool sample.
So Roderick Strong gets this unique pin on Dexter Lumis, which I thought was a really cool pin that he did because he kind of like flipped him around and twisted his legs and kept his shoulders down. But Morrow's going on, he stole the victory. What are you talking about? He stole the victory. He did not
It's a wrestling match. The main point of a wrestling match is to pin somebody on their shoulders.
Thank you. He did his job. He was the better wrestler.
I don't know why this needed to go down as it did, honestly. You could do a fucked finish. This is what they're for.
Yeah, this was a legit clean pin. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about.
They build up Sam Loomis or Dexter Loomis. Into this sort of person, but yeah. I don't know.
After the match, Cole and Fish. What happens? Roger tries to leave the ring. Dexter Loomis applies his headlock. Then out comes Adam Cole, Bobby Fish to try to break it up, but they can't get Loomis off of Roderick Strong. Then out comes Velveteen Dream in complete Undisputed Era gear, which really threw me off. I know he does things like that, but it's just random.
Man. Yep.
So they're an item, I guess.
I think they're just a team up, and I just feel like why, like Loomis, like super, like he was kind of instrumental in the whole, like. He factored into the finish of that Adam Cole title match. Why would Velveteen Dream team up with Loomis after that?
I have no idea.
It's super confusing to me. Also, this is your main title picture for NXT. This is just...
Is it, though? Are we going to get Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole again?
I think so. I don't know. It seems to be the most likely
place
that it would go.
Next up, we have Lorcan and Birch, I believe. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. During the break, Phantasma, he's driving away wearing his mask and a suit. He wants to congratulate Tozawa, who's just walking home, I guess. And he says, thank you. Great match. And then all of a sudden, the other luchadors show up and try to kidnap Tozawa. They're fended off by Phantasma. I don't know where they're going with this. It makes no sense to me.
Oh, well, we'll give it a wait. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait.
And next up, we have Lorcan and Birch. And, Jesus, I don't know why, but I'm really starting to love Ever Rise.
Just because.
Like, legitimately. They have an awesome theme song. Their Young Bucks rip-off gear is great.
What rip-off gear? It's just that Montreal thing.
No, they have new gear. Oh,
okay.
It's very Young Bucks-esque.
Yeah, sorry.
Like Young Bucks meets the Nasty Boys.
I skipped that on this match.
I mean, yeah. It was pretty much a squash match. Lorcan gets the single leg crab to Chase Parker for the tap out victory, and yeah, there you go.
They're building up Lorcan and Birch for most likely the
Imperium
tag match with Imperium. Should be a fucking banger, but
that'll be a bangers and mash. I'm so funny or hungry. I don't know. Next up, Keith Lee with Mackenzie backstage. He challenges Gargano to take over, and he tells Mackenzie, "Go tell the world." So, yeah. Riddle responding to Thatcher. He says he wants to up the stipulations in the match. He says he wants to do it in somewhere that they're both very familiar with, the cage. So, like I said, I don't think this is going to be a regular wrestling cage match. I think this is going to be like the Lions Den match.
I was going to say an octagon.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a fitting tribute to Owen Hart.
They got space for it. They got space for it now. I mean, there's no fans in the performance center. They could put it in a different room or put it off to the side, So And then we have A block match, Kushida versus Drake Maverick. Kushida, I mean, this guy wrestles circles around Drake Maverick. Eventually, at a certain point, Atlas comes out to ringside to cheer on Maverick. Feel like at a certain point, Atlas is going to
That was a giveaway, dude. That was a fucking giveaway.
What? Atlas coming out?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he's going to turn heel eventually, but I don't know why.
Of course they will. I mean, because he works for WWE. They want all the gays to be bad people.
Multiple palm strikes to Maverick. This is a match where I felt like I knew the outcome, but just wanted to end quickly. So I didn't like. I don't know. It seemed like Kushida was.
They're not going to turn heel. They're not. Jake Atlas is not going to turn.
Maverick refuses to quit. Triangle applied to Maverick. Kushida keeps trying to work the arm, going after the triangle, trying to apply the triangle, trying to apply the arm bar. And then they have this sloppy transition off the top rope where, he tries to apply the arm bar, but they kind of fall weird. And then Drake pins Kushida. So that was
again, Jake Atlas showing up. This was a dead giveaway that this is going to be a triple threat match, which I don't know. I thought, if they were doing round robin, I'm saying this as New Japan rules, but Jake Atlas beat Drake Maverick. You would think the tiebreaker would be that.
But Akira Tozawa beat Jake Atlas. Or sorry, not Akira Tozawa. Kushida beat Jake Atlas.
Yeah,
but Drake.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a circle of them beating each other.
It's rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, exactly. So next week,
Well,
they're gonna have a triple threat match, and I think the most logical thing for it to happen is Kushida to win this match and go on to face Phantasma.
And think about this, though. This is it really puts things into perspective. This is for the Cruiserweight Championship.
An
interim Cruiserweight Championship. And, you have Akira Tozawa, he lost his block match, but then, the fact that he lost that Monday night, that I'm still always going to bring up that Monday Night Raw match against Jinder Mahal with Akira Tozawa, where when Akira Tozawa lost against Jinder Mahal on Monday Night Raw, that's my investment of this tournament just flew out the fucking window.
So I said, next week we'll see Atlas versus Kushida versus Drake Maverick. The winner will go to face El Hijo del Fantasma to become the new interim cruiserweight. I'm probably happening to take over. Yes.
Lucha Cartel. Will they factor into the finish of this?
Yes. Yes. The whole Lucha Cartel. So you're going to see Joaquin Wilde come out. I almost said Joaquin Phoenix again. Raul Mendoza. Raul Mendoza. That's who got kidnapped, right? That guy's been kidnapped for months. He was kidnapped when there were still fans.
Let's hope they're feeding him well.
Jesus.
It's not like that. It's not like that episode of Breaking Bad where
No. Next week, and then next up we have a Damian Priest video package. He just says he wants Finn Balor at TakeOver, pretty much. When I went after Balor, I thought it was an opportunity. He is the former Universal Champion, the first ever. So I don't know. I'm not sold on this guy, man. Every week, it's just he bores me.
Damian Priest, the Archer of Infamy. Are you telling me the guy who does fake bow and arrows, and at the other end of that bow and arrow, flames come out? You're telling me he's boring?
Yes, I am.
I don't know what to tell you, man. That description should have sold you by itself. Man.
Him and Balor are going to have a match at TakeOver because, you need a non-title match at TakeOver that has some heat behind it. And then how
hot it was. I needed a drink of water.
The main event of the night was Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley. It was a decent match. The two women going back and forth, exchanging strikes, holds, and slams.
Was there did Morrow or anybody in the commentary said that these two ladies never faced each other before?
I didn't notice that.
I think someone said that, and I'm like, did the Mae Young Classic never exist?
Oh, did they face each other in the Mae Young Classic?
Faced each other in the Mae Young Classic.
Well, WWE likes to change history. Let's see. A decent match. Shirai hits apparently today on Rhea outside the ring. She knocks Rhea outside the ring. Out comes Charlotte Flair. Shirai Hurricane Rana's Rhea into Charlotte. Charlotte hits Shirai with a big boot in the ring. DQ finish and spear to Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a decent match up until the fuck finish. I think Charlotte needs to get out of NXT. I don't like her in NXT.
Shirai defeated Rhea Ripley in the semifinal match of the Mae Young Classic.
Well, that was
Go
all.
figure.
Like that wasn't punk rock.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So that was NXT.
Charlotte Flair, didn't she appear? You said that, right?
Yeah, she appeared
Yeah.
and she caused the DQ, and she sucks.
It's just
She doesn't suck. I take that back.
No, they're all very talented. Oh well, Rhea Ripley, I could take or leave, but Io Shirai and Charlotte Flair, I think, in my opinion, that should be the program. I think Rhea Ripley should
Charlotte
be somewhere else doing something else.
Whoa, bro! Whoa, calm down over there.
Does not like.
Stop unvelcroing your, I don't know, your leather. Anyways, well, that was NXT. That was AEW Dynamite. That was
So they got a takeover soon, right? Like it's not this week, but
no, 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks from Saturday night.
Okay, it's in your house, right?
No, it's happening at the Performance Center. That was a joke.
But is it called In Your House?
Yes, it's NXT Takeover in your house. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
What'd you think of this NXT?
It was another week. I think
I have an opinion, Corey. You got to spice things up, man.
Well, this week is just a meh week. Johnny Gargano. I point out things I like. Johnny Gargano.
I don't want to say meh. Like it's been. Oh, I thought you meant for this show for NXT. Yeah, it's just kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, it was what it was. They had some highs, they had some lows, but it really didn't do much for me this week. So,
I'll say the same thing about AEW Dynamite.
On our old metrics, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch NXT this week. I would give it 1 Flair chop.
Okay, that's. I gotta consider the scale of that. If it's just 1 Flair chop, and you're telling me, meh, what does that mean?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Double or Nothing's happening. You know, follow at least one of us on social media. Follow you.
Only one of us.
Mike Vergara, man, right?
You're either Team Michael or you're either Team Corey.
Whoa. Well, we should do something for Survivor Series like that. I don't know. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at CWR415, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Bye.